Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and we are honored to have in the studio with us today Joe Sigurdson. He is the co-founder and chief success officer for Boys to Men Mentoring Network. How are you doing, Joe?
Wonderful, Drew. Thank you for having me.
We were just chatting before the show and figuring out that it's almost impossible that we have not run into each other over the 300 years we've been on this planet Earth because of our connections with the Holiday Bowl, and shout out to Mark Neville and so forth, and working with Susan Clausen, who will be bringing her clients in later, and Rick Schloss, my longtime good friend. And how is that even possible?
I don't know, because, my mom always says, there's only 200 people on the planet. We just keep running into each other. And so, look, 1 degree of separation, Drew. So we're connected now.
We are connected, and I'm looking forward to a long-term relationship on this. And then want to make this ask right now before we start the show. Next time you're on, bring in someone who has benefited from the services, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, I would love that. I would have done that today. Yeah.
No, this is perfect. Yeah. This is absolutely. So talk a little about the mission of Boys to Men Mentoring.
Yeah, so our mission is to empower and encourage young men to live their dreams, and we do that by building communities in the schools of men that are willing to give their time and their care to these guys on a weekly basis, and in these in-school group mentoring circles, and So we're here to empower and encourage young men to live their dreams.
Right. So then, do you work with a certain age group in the schools?
Yeah. The sweet spot is really middle school, Drew.
Right.
Those kids are, they still care. They wanna do well. They wanna be good. They have some connection to their innocence, and if we can help them discover their true north, and then have that weekly interaction where we're reminding them of the kind of man they want to be and where they want to be in their lives. And, we can do these like weekly course corrections to keep them going in the direction that they want to go. And that period between like 13 and 16, and if there's no man in this young man's life, if he doesn't have that male nutrient, that asset, and, there's the awakening that happens between 13 and 16. They start recognizing that they kind of got screwed. And then the resentment and the anger starts manifesting, out of the feelings. And then that leads to the behaviors, and they start acting out. And it's much easier to keep a 12, 13-year-old on course than to take a 15, 16-year-old and turn them around. Not that we haven't done that. And it's not really us turning them around. It's us giving them an opportunity to look at what's working and what's not working and what they really want, and surrounding them with a committed group of mentors that are going to help them, become the men they want to be.
Yeah, and I think what's so interesting about this, you do this in school, correct?
Yeah.
And is it in school during the school day, or is it after school?
It's both.
Okay.
It's both, but most of our classes are during the school day.
Right.
The results we're getting, the schools are behind this, and they see the impact and they see the transformation, and they think that it's worth it to give these guys an hour in these circles, on a weekly basis, because like what we're doing is when we show up every week, and we're there to listen and accept and encourage these guys, right?
Right.
Okay. And we do that by sharing our stories. The men talk about what happened to them, how they felt, the decisions they made from those feelings, the price they paid for some of those choices. The boys hear the men being authentic and honest and vulnerable. They feel safe, and they start talking about, what's happening to them and how they're feeling and the choices they're making. And our job is to, say, is this what you want?
Right. Now, how do you identify the students?
The school does that for us.
Okay.
So, Initially, we'll go into a new school and we'll get 6 or 8 kids that the school has identified as really struggling, right?
Right.
And so we come in and we say, welcome to Boys to Men. You may or may not want to be here, and we understand that. You have to be here for the next 6 weeks. So if you'll give us 6 weeks to earn your trust and respect, at that end of that 6 weeks, if you don't want to be here, you're free to leave. If you do want to be here, we want you to tell your friends.
So the question is on this, we're chatting with Joe Sigurdson. He is the co-founder and chief success officer for Boys to Men Mentoring. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by our great sponsor, Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for 60 years. So are all the students that you work with, is there a certain number that at a school you won't work with more than 6 or 10? Or?
Yeah. So this is what happens.
Yeah.
Like I said, when we go into a new school, we'll start with 6 or 8.
Right.
But, and of course, those guys stay, and then they invite their friends.
Gotcha.
And so at the end of that school year, we may be up to 16 or 18,
wow.
Okay? Then some of those guys will graduate.
That's right.
Right? And then the next year, we might start with 10 or 12, and by the end of that school year, we may have 30.
Wow.
And now, instead of running 2 circles, because we can't manage 30 boys for an hour and everybody get a chance to share, we'll split and we'll run 2 groups.
Right.
But we try to keep them to 15 or 16 so that everybody gets a chance to check in.
Is it an hour a day, an hour a week? How does that work?
An hour a week, yeah.
1 hour a week. Is it always a certain time that we're going to be doing this between, at the school? Once you establish it, it's the same at the school, right?
Yeah, at the school, yeah. So we're in the schools
right.
Tuesday through Friday.
Got it.
We give Monday is our team. We get caught up on all our paperwork.
Sure.
We have debriefs.
That's right.
And team meetings. But Tuesday through Friday, we're running 35 groups a week.
Wow.
In 30 schools.
Wow.
In 7 school districts around the county with over 700 boys enrolled countywide.
That's you've been doing this for 27 years, right?
Yeah. Well, and we've been in the schools since 2008.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So 15 years in the schools. Are all the students that you work with, are they without a male in their family, or how's that work?
Yeah, not all of them.
Okay.
But when they give us those first 8 or so, those kids that are struggling, a lot of those guys are struggling because they don't have the support and the asset in their life that's, listening to them and guiding them and supporting them and encouraging them, And what happens, Drew, is those guys don't even know that that's missing out of their lives until we show up.
Right.
And when we show up consistently and give that unconditional love and acceptance and meet them right where they are. We're not projecting, we're not judging them. We're meeting them right where they are and accepting them as they are and knowing that whatever they're doing, there's a story behind what they're doing,
Sure. So talk a little bit about, there is a boys' crisis in our country.
Yeah.
Is it growing? Is it leveling out? Is it going down? So it's going the wrong way, I can tell.
Yeah.
And in light of that, the advantages of in-school group meetings versus maybe offsite.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we definitely
have a crisis
in our country. Just look at the headlines.
Right.
So there's a lot of young men out there hurting.
Right.
And they're walking around with this unresolved anger and grief and frustration.
Right.
And, when we can give those guys a sounding board for that stuff and just listen to them, and say things like, That's got to be tough. Man, how are you dealing with all that? You know, you're a resilient young man. I can't believe you're navigating all this. How old are you? You know, that kind of like,
Sure.
Oh, this guy is present. This guy is listening. This guy's on my side. And then we throw in little things like when the kids walk in and you notice something about them. Dude, where'd you get those shoes? Those are awesome. Like, they're not used to that kind of interaction and praise from the men, you know? So,
you know, you're so spot on this, Joe. We've been fortunate enough to have a lot of groups that deal with some of the youth you're talking about, you know, just in time for foster youth.
Yeah,
Our good friend,
wonderful.
Don Wells is phenomenal.
He's amazing.
He is. And one of the things we talk quite a bit about is what you just hit here, which is unfathomable to many people, but it's real for these kids. In your case, you know, young men, but young women fall into this as well.
Yeah.
How many people have never been told, I love you?
Yeah.
Or you're doing well? Or doesn't that look cool? How can I help you? Which for most people is unfathomable. But folks, it's real.
Hey, look, we all need to be encouraged, right?
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. And so if you've got these kids that aren't getting any of that.
None.
You know,
never been hugged.
And a lot of them are doing like phenomenal things with their lives.
Right.
You know, and anyway, yeah, so we build we have these two acronyms that we practice in the circles.
Yeah.
We train our mentors. And we have one rule is called, this is a no frap zone. And frap is an acronym for, we're not here to fix, rescue, give advice, or project our values onto these kids. You know, we are here to lamp. We are here to listen, accept, model, mentor, and praise. And so we do workshops on this. You know, we do monthly trainings for our mentors. You know, we do active listening skills. We do diversity training skills. We do trust building skills and empathy and compassion. And so we host these monthly trainings to give our mentors, you know, the practical tools to sit in a circle and practice lamping and stay away from the frapping and know that these guys aren't broken. You know, they're fine. Our job is to, you know, find their gold and empower that part of themselves so that if we believe in them, they can start believing in themselves.
Yeah, so spot on. We come back from break. We're going to continue the conversation with Joe Sigurdson, co-founder and chief success officer for Boys to Men Mentoring. We're going to talk more about how our listeners can help support this wonderful organization, get more knee-deep into exactly what they are doing. And we will absolutely invite Joe to come back with one of the students, so to speak, that may be a young adult now, or maybe a mentor themselves, and talking about this when we return with another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Cloudcast Media, sponsored by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing wonderful things for San Diegans for 60 years. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are back with Joe Sigurdson. He is the co-founder and chief success officer of Boys to Men Mentoring, and chatting about the wonderful mission put together communities of male role models who, through consistent group mentoring, encourage and empower boys to follow their dreams. Working with these folks, pretty much in the middle school area, but could be a little bit
and high
older.
school. We have a lot of high school groups.
And high school, but in school. The key is that this is done in school, and also probably for the most part, if not all the most part, during the school day. But we know money doesn't grow on trees, no pun intended, and you got a pretty cool event called Rooted in Resiliency that is coming up on April the 22nd, Saturday the 22nd at the beautiful Catamaran Resort. Talk about it.
Yeah. So this is going to be a really elegant evening. Past tray, we're going to be on the lawn at the Catamaran, overlooking the bay. Past trays, carving station, hosted bar, mainly Mozart string quartet. We're not going to have any tables. There's going to be couches and clusters of seats and belly bars, and there'll be an hour and a half of mingling and connecting. And then we're going to move upstairs to the Kontiki room, where we're going to do a community hero award to our champion, Sean Thompson. He's a former world champion surfer, and he's written 4 books and produced some movies. Anyway, he's really helped us with the 100 Wave Challenge for the last 9 years.
Nice.
Raised millions of dollars. So we're going to give the inaugural award to Sean Thompson. Then we're going to show a very gripping movie about the impact of our work in the community. And then we're going to do a live auction. We got some very cool stuff. We got a trip down to Scorpion Bay, a surf trip right down to Scorpion Bay for 5 nights. And then after that, we're going to have one of our boys share his story, his testimony. Hopefully his mom's going to be there. We've invited her as well. And then we're going to do a paddle race, and then we're going to do a 75-minute concert by Jason Mraz.
Wow, that's huge.
It is huge, and Gregory Page will be joining him, and Carlos Olmeda, and Greg Gerson, and these 4 guys have toured and recorded together for 25 years, and this is the first time all 4 of them have been on the stage at the same time in 20 years.
Wow!
So they're all coming together to do this magical performance for Boys to Men, and celebrate our 25 years of service to the community. And it's going to be a big night, Drew. Thank you.
How do they sign up? Where do they go?
boystomen.org. Yeah, you can sign up there. There's a banner right there, take you right to registration. Boys to Men, BOYSTOMEN.org. The seats are still available.
How about sponsorship? Are sponsorships available?
Yeah, sponsorships are available for sure.
They're always available.
Yeah, always available.
Right, exactly. We're chatting with Joe Sigurdson. He's the co-founder and chief success officer for Boys to Men Mentoring. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by our sponsor, Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for 60 years here in San Diego. This is a terrific. You've mentioned the 100 Wave Challenge. What's that about?
Okay, so that is our biggest fundraiser of the year.
That's right.
And we've been doing this for 13 years.
Right.
We haven't done a gala since we started the 100 Wave Challenge, but we thought for 25 years we should celebrate that, right?
Absolutely.
But when we fell onto the 100 Wave Challenge, which there's a story there, I won't get into that, but that has become, the surfing community has come together to support Boys to Men in an amazing way. Surfers register. They create their own landing page while they're registering, and then they just take the link to their landing page, send it out to their family and friends saying, I'm doing this ridiculous thing for this wonderful cause. Please click on my link. And then we all gather. We're all gathering on September 16th at Mission Beach, and there'll be food, and there'll be 1,500 square feet of shade on the beach, AstroTurf, inflatable couches, hydration station, nutrition station, yoga classes, massage therapists. The whole day is geared to help the surfers be successful in catching 100 waves. We'll also have sandcastle building, craft tables for the families. It's an all-day surf festival, live music.
This is Mission Bay?
Mission Beach.
Mission Beach, okay.
Yeah.
So Mission Beach, it's going to be on the 16th of September.
Yes.
And again, a 100-wave challenge. It's going to be year 14?
Yeah, year 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
14th annual. So let me ask you this in our few minutes left here. So people listening to this go, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with Joe. How do I become a mentor?
Yeah.
What's the process?
Yeah, we need it.
And how do I get a hold of him?
Yeah. Okay. So joe@boys2men.org is my email.
Okay.
And, you get a hold of me, I'll get you connected to, we have a brilliant young man, Tom Fan, who is our mentor coordinator. Now, listen, there is a process to being a mentor. We're working with minors. So there is a vetting process.
Fingerprinting the whole
interviewing,
Sure.
with FBI, Department of Justice,
Of course.
DMV, all that background check. But there's also, an interviewing process to make sure that
It's got to be the right fit.
Yeah. And then there's ongoing training. And we actually do a retreat for our mentors. It's an overnight retreat. We have a 16-acre ranch up on Mount Palomar. We didn't even get into the follow-up weekends that we offer the boys. But
And that's because you're going to be coming back on the show
Okay, good.
sooner than later. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? My goodness here. That sounds good. Any final comments? Again, I want to say Saturday, April the 22nd is the Rooted in Resiliency celebration at the beautiful Catamaran 6 to whenever, right? Jason Mraz will be the headliner and a whole bunch of cool things going on. The 100-Wave Challenge will be in the fall, September the 16th.
but we've got Caddy Hack in July, which is Ernie Hahn's production. It's a caddy shack.
I can see Ernie coming up with
themed.
that.
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. We've got 25 live bands on the course. There's food and booze on almost every hole. There's engagements throughout.
Beautiful. And where's that going to be?
Fairbanks Ranch Country Club.
Of course. Rancho Santa Fe, right?
Yeah, man. We got great champions in Ernie, great champions in Dean Oliver, who is heading up our Root and Resiliency, and Bill and Sue Evans, who have come alongside us to help us out. We're getting great community support because this is such an important mission. Young men are dying on the vine from lack of male nutrient. And when we can show up even weekly and give them the kind of support and encouragement that they need, that they don't even know is missing, they get a taste of that, and they want more, and they go, oh, this is the way it's supposed to.
That's perfect. Shout out the website again for those folks to get engaged with you.
boys2men.org, BOYSTOMEN, no Z, no Roman numeral 2.
Very, very good. Well, Joe Sigurdson, what an absolute pleasure. Getting a chance to meet you. Hard to believe our paths never crossed, but they will now. That is changed effective today. We'll look forward to having you back
Wonderful.
on sooner than later with one of these folks that either are currently being mentored, if that's cool, or have been mentored before. We'd love to get folks that are already are still in school. But I'll let you decide how that works out.
Oh, yeah.
And again, want to wish you nothing but great success on all the events that are coming up. April 22nd, Rooted in Resiliency at the Catamaran. We got the Caddy Hack event in July at Fairbanks Ranch. And then in the fall, September 16th, the 14th annual 100-Wave Challenge. We're just getting started. And Joe, count on being on the show multiple times to get the word out.
Drew. God bless you, man. That's awesome.
Okay,
Thank you, brother.
That's a done deal.
All right.
I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. And for all of those who've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community, show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.